Hello, I'm Theresa, and I'm going to talk about my experience with visual management and rapid experimentation using the plan, do, check, and adjust or act cycle, or the PDCA cycle, to find a useful solution to a problem with the materials I already had on hand. So to begin my story, I'll share that I've been practicing online coaching, but the sessions were lacking the useful tool of visual management, and my own coach had suggested incorporating this into my coaching practice. So visual management is beneficial because it shows details of a process we're working on, and anyone who looks at the visual management can easily understand the progress being made. Using visual management would help make sure that I and my coachees had clarity on all the areas of what we were working on. I then had to think of a way to incorporate visual management into the video sessions, and I did this through multiple successive experiments using PDCA. The first step was to think about how a chart could be visible during the online chat session, and I figured a whiteboard would be most beneficial as it could easily be written on and changed. So in order to accomplish this, I first had to think about how I might just hold the whiteboard, and I had a whiteboard on hand. So when I tried that, it seemed like this was pretty awkward and maybe an inefficient way to write. It was in the way, and I wouldn't be easily able to manage that. So I adjusted, and I thought about how could I use a whiteboard without having to hold it. So I thought about a rolling whiteboard that could maybe be parked right behind me, and I could just write on it that way. So I looked them up online, and this is an example of what I found. What I discovered was that they could get really expensive, and that would not have been beneficial to spend that much money on such a small project. As we say in Lean, use your wits, not your wallet. So I began to think about the materials that I had at my disposal already. So I adjusted again and thought, okay, how can I use the whiteboards I have in a way that would be effective and efficient and visible to those on the chat? And it seemed as if I were able to suspend something behind me that would work. So in looking around, I thought, okay, I might be able to rig something up on these cupboards behind me to make the board more easily visible. So I was able to use these low-cost command strip hooks and attach them to the cupboards behind me. And then I was able to put the whiteboard up. So continuing with PDCA, I checked to make sure that the whiteboard would be large enough to be visible. The settings of the video chat needed to be tested until a setting that allowed for optimum visibility of the whiteboard could be found. The software that we're using for our video chats is called Zoom, and we found that the coachee needed to be in a setting called speaker view, not gallery view. This was the setting that allowed the whiteboard behind me to be as visible as possible to the coachee. So I was able to improve our online coaching sessions by bringing in visual management through many small experiments using PDCA. And best of all, I was able to find a low-cost solution which used the materials that I already had on hand. So thank you for listening and learning a little bit about visual management and rapid experimentation using PDCA.